I remember the name of my talk this morning. I forgot. It's Agile in a Bank, from pilot to rollout. First, I want to thank all the sponsors, and especially because they gave me the opportunity to be here in Sarajevo for the first time, and I really enjoy the city, the venue, and this conference. Is any of you involved in introducing Agile in a big organization, in a big corporation? You sort of. Okay. I hope you will enjoy anyway this talk. So, let's start with a prologue. In late 2014, in a galaxy far, far away, an enterprise, a big corporation, needs to change. And he has many motivation to change, because he's facing slow delivery, average quality of the software, of the process, and most of all, an unsatisfied business. And especially feel the pressure of the market. The market that demands more from a bank, the customers that demand more. There are more competitors. You know that there are zillions of startups that try to be a bank. Someone is pushing very well with electronic payment, and you know the bank are all freaked out by PayPal. So many reasons to change, and someone has the brilliant idea to introduce Agile. But also, they want maintain waterfall for some project. This is a very big company. It's a bank. They run thousands of projects a year. So the idea is to have a B-model IT, as Gartner call it. So it's the beginning of a long journey, a very long journey. And the journey starts in 2015 with a pilot project. Actually, start hiring some consultant like me, and then we ran 6 pilot projects in many different fields in the bank. One of them doesn't have an IT involved. Was the revision of process. So we ran these 6 pilots with an element that all of the development is outsourced. So that there is no team, no the developers in the bank. So to introduce Agile, I was inspired by Scrum of Scrum. Inspired because if you don't have a development team, it's quite difficult to run Scrum. We try with the contractors to push them to use Scrum, but it's up to them. So, but we work in a Scrum. In the coordination team, in a Scrum of Scrum. And in the coordination team, we put also the business, a business representative in the team, just to break the silos between business and IT and IT department. And during the pilot, we needed to answer this question: how Agile works. So you teach them practices, of course, planning, user stories, incremental requirement, and everything. But you could not stop just to the practices. Because if you stop to the practices, you for sure fall into a Scrum fall. You know? So you need to teach the people to behave differently, to have a different behavior, to try to really understand what Agile is, because as many of the speakers told us today, is that Agile is a mindset, you know? So to reach this mindset, we did a lot of training. Of course, you have to tell the people how it works, but also coaching and mentoring. You know, when you train, you tell the people how it works. When you mentor, you tell the people what is a possible solution for a problem. When you coach him, you help him to find a solution. Yeah? And so they could start to have this mindset. And we did that not only to the people involved in the pilot project, but also to the people involved in the transition team. That there is a team of people from the bank who leads the transition. So the training and the coaching and mentoring was in both sides. And during the pilot, or at the end of the various pilots, the company saw many benefits. Transparency, because there is transparency between people, but also transparency in the process. They are able to see working software every 2 weeks. They have a report looking at the backlog. What is done is really done. It is not, how is the project? Oh, we are 46% done. 46% of what? Who knows? And also better quality. Even if we are not allowed to train on a tractor, so we're not allowed to explain how to develop better software using all the craftsmanship knowledge, but also that there is, anyway, that there is better quality. Because if you are forced to produce software every 2 weeks in small batches and integrate it every 2 weeks, the quality is better than in the old style when you work for months and try to integrate at the end. And nobody knows why, but never works. And you spend other months try to fix it. And also, they found that there is a sort of knowledge in sourcing, because the demanding all of the work to the contractor pushes the knowledge in the contractor and not in the people who manage the project. And business relationship. Before the pilot, business aids IT department and vice versa. If you put them in the same room, that decide together, they came to trust each other, and the relationship definitely improved. Of course, it's not only sunshine and rainbows, it's not everything perfect. But it could work. It works. They see real benefit. And so they decide in the beginning of 2016 to exit from the pilot phase and roll out. So Agile is the way of developing a project in a bank. Certain project. We will see what kind of project. But this decision is not something that changed the banking immediately. Even because the bigger guys at the top of the bank notice you and try to think, what is that? Well, what is that things? Why those guys are trying also to change the governance, all of the process that are around the IT project or the development project. Why they have to affect the audit? Audit is like, I don't know the word in English, but it's something scary for a bank. Oh, no, don't call the guys from the audit, please. And also operation. You push them to release something, at least in the production, every 2 weeks. Usually they hate us for that, but but we are working on this. And most of all, the contract. The contract should change. It's not more a fixed price, fixed time, fixed cost. And so we were able to change the contract to at least allow changing in scope, a variable scope. And we talk with lawyers and all of the stuff to do that. But the real problem is that the game changed completely. Because when you are in the pilot, you are in a sort of playground. You know, you can do most of the things. Nobody is really affected. So on one, is always thinking, oh, it doesn't last. So you are almost in a safe environment. But when you roll out, you are going to change to affect the entire organization. And this is tough. But as Belushi said, when the going tough, the tough get going. And we move to answer a different question. Not how Agile works, but why should I adopt Agile? And these people are not the who pose this question. It's not the people that are involved in the project per se, but are the people who are involved in the hierarchy of the organization of the bank. And they have some misconception, you know? They heard that Agile means that I could run a project in less time, less cost, and with scope completed. all the scope. Yeah? And so most of them say, this is agile, so it's bullshit. or they say, I don't think you are telling something useful, really useful for the bank. But you have not only misconception to fight. You have a doubt, personal doubt. Because the people start asking, am I supported? So the company is really behind me in this move to Agile? Or I'm a lonely nuts who have to run the project by himself? And also, they are wondering what are the unwritten rules. You know, there are rules and the unwritten rules who runs the company. Many of them doesn't like the rules and not even the unwritten rules, but they know them very well. They are able to survive using the unwritten rules. And when you introduce Agile, you break the rules. So they are a little bit afraid of that. And then there is another doubt. How many projects can I run per year? And this is a doubt because they are evaluated on number of projects with the budget. They are not evaluated on the outcome of the project, but just the number of it. So if you introduce Agile, at least during the transition, the number of projects probably is less than the year before. No? And so they are really afraid of this. But the business who was involved in the pilot loves Agile because they have what they expect. They see progress every 2 weeks, and they are also able to change the requirement, to change the definition of the requirement, and nobody complains, and nobody asks more money. So for a business is a little bit of a nirvana if they want to be part of the project, of course. Because some of them replies, no. I just want to write down the requirements. You are the EDT guys. Go on and on. And then came back to me. So, how to solve this? Climb the hierarchy. They are asking for support. They have a misconception. So you have to climb the hierarchy and find the right people and explain to them why that there are misconceptions and how we could solve the doubt. At least in this case, hierarchy is very useful. Yeah, because if you convince the right people, that things move on. And we climbed the hierarchy up to the CIO, which is in a bank a sort of God. And when we met those people, we didn't show them slides or PowerPoint or business report. We run workshop with them. So we let them play, touch, have a feeling of what Agile is, and most important, have the opportunity to ask a question in a almost friendly way. Okay? And so we run those workshop in search of commitment. These guys should be committed in an Agile and should empower the people who work with them to run Agile. But also to build trust. Trust in us, the people that involved in the transition team, and trust in the methodology. It's not something new, because knowing that Agile is not really new for a bank is important. They don't want to be early adopter. But also that it could work in this environment, and trust you and the methodology. But it's not only a matter of trust, it's also a matter of values. Feedback. Feedback is quite complicated at the beginning, because they are not used to feedback. The only feedback usually is blame, which is not feedback. And they are so not used to feedback, to proper feedback, that once I gave a feedback to a person, and I told her, your speech was very good, very good, better than mine, I'm sure, very good. She started crying. Was the first time that she received a good sincere feedback. But they get used to this. Feedback is important. Communication is important. And the communication is not email, is not a status report. Communication is communication. We exchange ideas, point of view. You know? The third thing is change. Change happens, no matter what. So if you think that change happens, you adapt yourself to change. And that's why we use Agile. But for them, change is something wrong. If something changed, means that in the past you did something wrong. You were not good enough to see the future and imagine the possible change. And last, but not least, the concept of less is more. I'm not interested in all the scope, which is the very important part of the success project. Let us focus on this. And all these things also means that they need to understand that the success criteria change. And so change the number of projects per year. Because I'm interested, we are interested in this argument. Return of an investment, that the company spend money, and the bank could spend really a lot of money. But any big organization could spend a lot of money. But what is the return of this investment? And the return of investment could be money, but also visibility, good customer relationship. But you have to think about it, to the return of the investment. And on the other hand, what is the value delivered to the business or to the customer? We are not doing this just because it's written somewhere. Are we delivering value constantly? This is a success criteria. And then the customer satisfaction. Time and budget are not in Agile success criteria. They are constrained. Of course, you could not run a project for forever and spending money as you wish in at every sprint. But it's not a success criteria. If I do those things, spending the right money in the right time and nobody use it, is a success criteria? No. But all these things helps also the company to think of the IT department as a business enabler. Because IT is seen as waste of money, something that you need to have, but you don't get a real business benefit. Okay? And thinking in this way and told the people all of the stuff and running the workshop helps them to think that maybe they could turn in themselves in a business enabler. So where do we start for the rollout? So we were able to align the values, talk to the right people, have the commitment, and then we should start to find project. And the idea is not to find a single project, but to introduce Agile in some specific valuable area. For example, trading, insurance. I don't know, but a bank are doing a lot of insurance contract. These are valuable area. And in this area, you could train all the people in this area. Because you need the more and more people get involved in this. You cannot think to by himself to introduce Agile in the whole organization. You have to train people to do this work in this area, and then in a fractal way continue the process. It's, of course, a strategic choice. It's something that needs a vision, and a vision from someone who has this vision. So from the top manager. The top manager could decide which area is strategic for the company in the next few years. Okay. We could help giving them a few drivers. Business value, which area cares the most business value in the company, but also the novelty. How new is this topic for the company, and so how uncertain is the topic for the company. What's the urgency, the need of this, the good pressure to have this, which is not we are short in time, no? But the need, the urgency to have this, and the complexity. And maintenance, as the guy said before, or me, is not good for this. It's not complex. If the project is 1 month long, it's too sprint. Spend more time to explain how it works than to have some benefit. How complex is the domain? How many systems are involved? In the other case, maybe waterfall could still be used in the company. Okay? And to have this conversation, we ran a sort of portfolio session with all of the area, values, and we rearranged the thing just to have consensus and sharing of the knowledge on this. But, and we are coming to an end, the journey is still ongoing. We didn't finish yet. The portfolio session, I have actually 2, one on Monday and one on a Tuesday. It takes time. I was expecting when I wrote the abstract for the call of paper to be a little bit more in the process, but that the company has time just to have an appointment to the CIO is 2-3 months 2-3 months scheduling. But it takes time for this, but it also takes time because change is not a linear process. As I told you, it's the result of a series of experiments, feedback. Try to move in this way and see that nothing good is happening, change the way. But it's you could see this as agile. So we use the agile principle to introduce agile. Backlog, priority, feedback, try to make a change, collect the feedback, think of the new one, involve the right people, and all the stuff. I want to finish this talk talking a little bit more about people. Agilize people, not project, not process. Agile is for people, and Agile is a mindset. And people could change mindset. It's not something impossible. Even people that are in a certain culture for a long time. But it's a big challenge, and we are asking to those persons a big step forward. And for someone, the step is caring. They really freak out of the idea to change. But most of them, no. The good news is that the one who follows the values try to become to understand the value and to practice the value. In those guys, you see in a certain moment a click, a discontinuity. They see the light and start thinking in Agile. And it happens, click. And usually they don't revert. They don't revert, but in an organization, in a big organization, it's difficult to balance, you know, because you are not the lonely, but you are just a few people who start thinking in a different way, and it's difficult to balance with the other inputs and the other pressure that there are in a company, because the enterprise strikes back. This story will continue to a cinema near you in 2017. I'm Marco Trincardi. I'm Italian. I work as an agile coach in X Peppers, my company. I'm based in the north of Italy, Trento, near the Dolomites, but I travel quite a lot for do my job. If you have any question, you could contact me by email, Twitter, or LinkedIn, or we could have a chat. Thank you. If you have any question. Okay. Thank you. Thanks. Okay. Thank you.